The monk and the flower. A monk was walking in the garden, and a young disciple asked him, "Master, how can I find peace in my life?" The monk pointed to a flower and said, "Look at the flower. It blooms in silence and with patience. Peace comes when you stop forcing it and let it bloom naturally." The disciple understood that peace, like a flower, grows quietly within. The lost key. A monk was looking for a lost key in the monastery's courtyard. A passerby saw him and asked, "Why are you searching here?" The monk replied, "I lost it inside the temple, but it's too dark to search there. So I look outside where there's light." The passerby laughed. "That's foolish. The key is inside." The monk smiled. We often search for peace and happiness in the wrong places. Sometimes the answers lie within. The silent monk. One day, a new monk joined a monastery known for its vow of silence. The abbot told him, "After 1 year, you will be allowed to speak one sentence." A year later, the monk stood and said, "The food is terrible." After another year, he said, "I am cold." Finally, after 3 years, he spoke, "I quit." The abbot smiled. "I knew you would. You haven't said anything useful yet." The lesson was clear. Silence should be a tool for reflection, not a form of complaint. The monk and the river. A monk and a disciple were walking along a river when they came across a woman who couldn't cross. The monk, without a word, carried her across. After crossing, the woman thanked him and walked away. The disciple asked, "Master, why did you touch her? We are supposed to stay detached." The monk replied, "I carried her across the river. You are still carrying her in your mind." The monk and the beggar. A beggar came to a monk asking for alms. The monk, instead of offering money, gave him a simple bowl of soup. "Why are you giving me only this?" the beggar complained. The monk replied, "What you need isn't wealth, but nourishment for your spirit. Sometimes true richness comes from the simplest things." The Zen Garden. A monk spent many years cultivating a Zen garden with precision and care. One day, a visitor asked him, "Why do you spend so much time making this garden perfect?" The monk replied, "The garden is not about perfection, but about practicing patience and mindfulness. Every stone placed, every grain of sand is a step toward inner harmony." The two monks and the woman. Two monks were walking when they encountered a woman unable to cross a flooded river. The older monk immediately carried her across, while the younger monk remained silent. Afterward, the younger monk asked, "Why did you touch her?" "We are forbidden from touching women." The older monk calmly said, "I put her down a mile ago. You are still carrying her in your heart." The monk who laughed. A monk was known for his unwavering calm and solemnity. One day, a stranger came and made him laugh. The next day, a disciple asked, "Master, why did you laugh?" The monk replied, "Sometimes we think that true wisdom requires only seriousness, but joy is also a form of enlightenment. Laughing cleanses the heart." The tea ceremony. A monk invited a visitor to join him for tea. As the visitor spoke endlessly, the monk poured tea into his cup but continued to pour even when the cup was full, spilling the tea onto the table. "Why are you spilling the tea?" the visitor asked. The monk replied, "Your mind is like this cup, too full to receive anything. Only when you empty your cup can you truly receive." The monk's dilemma. A young monk asked his teacher, "Master, how do I attain enlightenment?" The master gave him a simple task: to sweep the monastery's floor every day for a week. After the week, the monk asked, "I have been sweeping diligently, but I feel no closer to enlightenment." The master smiled. The path to enlightenment is not a grand achievement, but a daily practice. It is found in every simple mindful action.